We're going to start with Michael Olise, turned down the chance to join Chelsea. Not just stayed at Crystal Palace, he has signed a new 4-year deal. Darmish, just fill us in. How have we got to this point?
It's best to just break down how we got here. Exactly what you asked there, Joe. Chelsea met the release clause in Michael Olise's contract. We believe that release clause to be £35 million. Once you trigger that release clause, as you all know, that would allow the club to talk to the player. However, there was no response from Olise or from Crystal Palace after Chelsea's offer had gone in. Olise then, as we found out today, has signed a 4-year contract at Crystal Palace. So the big question is, why did he sign the contract? Why did he turn down Chelsea? On face value, Olise sees Crystal Palace as the best place for him for his short-term and potentially long-term development. And it's best served that he stays there. However, we should reflect on reports that were emerging earlier this week that Crystal Palace were not happy with how Chelsea had behaved amid threats of reporting them for potentially tapping up Michael Olise, and that the Chelsea then pulled out of the deal as a result of a threat of Palace going to the authorities to say Chelsea have been tapping up the player. Our information, though, is that Chelsea actually never withdrew their offer. So that would imply that they were completely comfortable with how they had approached this deal. They were completely comfortable with their conduct in approaching this deal. So, in all, that would indicate that Olise signed a new deal because solely he wanted to remain at Crystal Palace and he sees his development best served at Selhurst Park. Now, the details of his new contract, aside of the fact that it's a 4-year deal, that hasn't been made public. Now, we know that there was a release clause in his old contract. There's no confirmation as to whether there's a bigger release clause in his new contract or indeed if there's a release clause at all, because that's something that the club probably wouldn't make public knowledge. It would just kind of emerge once, if and when another club started to become interested in Olise again in the future.